What's up, guys? I keep getting the theme of Love Boat keeps running through my head. And then I changed the lyrics when I was a kid because I think Love Boat used to come on right after. When did Love? It came right after, or no, it was right before one of my favorite TV shows, and I can't remember what that was. Back then, it could have been like The Hulk or something like that. I think maybe it was on a Sunday because I never saw daily versions of the Love Boat. I don't know. Parasitic attachments. We're going to talk about parasitic attachments today. And a lot of times you'll have a big one, you won't even realize it, right? If you're unconsciously dumping energy outside of the present, I think I've talked about this before on the channel, or feeling like you're trying to get pulled in one direction or the other, right? Somebody's trying to attach themselves to you, and sometimes it may even seem like a healthy way, but it can end up being unhealthy because it has a kind of like a really subconscious controlling attribute that they may not even be aware of, right? Unconsciously attach ourselves to things without even realizing it. I think everyone falls prey to that. Even ideals, right? Okay, I need to do this or I'm going to die, right? Yeah. Here is I'm about ready to tell you guys, okay, this is it. Fundamental truth of creation. This is the end-all, be-all of getting rid of parasitic attachments. And if you can do this, you're free. You're free. The truth shall set you free. So, you're living inside of yourself, right? This is a electrical. I mean, it looks like an electrical circuit. It's just a circuit of little feminine fields that are made up of more structures of little feminine fields. If that makes sense. So like when you look at a picture of a galaxy, it's like you're looking at the picture of an atom, right? Except when you look at an atom, if we take a microscope and you look at an atom, it's flopping between positive and negative so fast. All you see is the field, just the circle that is the perimeter, the firmament of that. It's like a miniature universe. But the central portal to that universe is instantaneously connected to the center of every other universe. So literally, inside your body, it's inside outside. It's like it turns in. I was getting downloads yesterday that were just blowing my mind. I had to stop. I was like, breathe, right? Because so imagine seeing the beginning and ending of this galaxy over billions, trillions of years, all happening within a second. Because that's what you're actually looking at when you look at an atom. You don't even realize it. You're looking at an infinite amount of information because the quantum is instantaneous, right? All the energy that ever existed or ever will exist is contained in one point, and every single point in time space. So it's all exactly the same. You're just looking at relative speeds of vibration. I mean, they call it vibration, but so when some people say that they're vibrating higher, it just appears that you might be vibrating higher to other people. And the reason you're vibrating higher is because you're completely present, right? You're no longer the farther you pull yourself out of worrying about what's going to happen in the next moment, the less you're going to be able to be perfectly present on what's coming through right now. Because of love. That's what gets you connected, right? It's the only thing that matters. Right here, right now. This space, time. And if something's trying to pull me in any direction, it's a parasitic attachment, right? It's trying to get me to worry about something, right? some big entities out there that live off of certain types of fear, right? Sexual energy, all kinds of stuff, right? I mean, creating fantasies of the mind where your mind keeps going back. If you find your mind drifting into unhealthy anything, right? That you're not presently doing right now. That's, you know, getting you connected to more of yourself in the field. Right? Yeah. So clearing away energetic attachments is no small thing. It's not easy to do because you're any person, place, or thing that's pulling you in a direction, that's pulling you out of the present and keeping you out of the void and listening to what's going on right now is a sort of attachment, right? Now you can focus your attention on anything and experience it and enjoy it, right? But you need to be able to move from that and healthily, right? This could be even your spouse, right? Maybe you're married to somebody. In order to really understand, your spouse, and that's why divine spouses really haven't manifested yet. I mean, there are couples out there that you could argue, oh, that's a divine couple, and realistically, yes, everything's divine. Yeah, okay, that's not no mystery there. It's divine, but show me a divine couple where they're not energetically attached to three-dimensional space, right? And they just poof pop in and out. I mean, that, I don't know how soon we're gonna see that, but yeah, cool. Yeah. What else do I have? Oh, yeah, the truth. The truth shall set you free. Knowing that all of it is you, even the things that are very parasitic. So people try to turn our reality into things that are good or evil. Not true, right? There is no such thing as good and evil. And people will say that evil is, in the Bible it says people say that evil is good and good is evil. That's people just twisting what they know of reality. I'm trying to create balance in life, right? It's create balance. So you want to balance the positive and negative so that you're creating out of listening at an increased rate, if that makes sense. Advanced healing is doing that, right? Because you're listening. If somebody surrenders themselves to you, because that's how you heal one another. You surrender yourself to that situation, that person. You surrender to their needs. Not trying to. If there's any part of you that's trying to control the actions of someone else, that is a negative attachment. I'm okay. Whatever you want to do. There isn't anything that you can do that will upset me. If that makes sense. Nothing. I would love to spend time with you. But if there's any energetic tie that tries to play tug of war, right? Where you're trying to tug of war one another, then it grows dysfunctional, right? Very hard thing to master because you want to express love and unconditional love for each other, for people, everybody, unconditionally. And if you're coming from that place and you're present, it means you're gathering a lot of energy, right? You're hypersensitive. I'll be the first one to tell you, I feel like I got rid of a big attachment just yesterday or the day before. Something happened where I realized it was just, I was concentrating on a project and it wasn't as fulfilling as I wanted it to be. And I realized I'm not going to do it by myself, and it's not ready to be built because people haven't mastered themselves yet. Because we can't really come together as a group. The whole organism has to fractionalize, right? And it has to heal in individual parts before it can kind of come back together. The nature has to get it to a place where it needs to be before it can come back together. Now, if any one of those parts is unhealthily pulling off the other part, that's okay. You just need a mechanism to make sure it gets popped out. Right? Just like the body. Look at your body. It's an energetic machine. It's it's made to heal itself the way it's structured. The structure of your own body is made to heal itself for a specific reason. All you have to do is let it rest. Actually, the more you rest, the more parasitic attachments you get rid of. I mean, it's like, you really think about what's going on here. From the outside, and this is the reason why Jesus said, my God's ways aren't man's ways, because man wants to try and control his own destiny, try and figure out, okay, I need to do this, and that's not it, man. I mean, I thought in a lot of ways that it was creating something, but what you do is if you're actively in creation mode all the time, you're without receiving anything. You're operating from an injured feminine aspect of yourself where you can't listen to what it needs, right? You're trying to control the direction of where it needs to go. So you've got an injured feminine aspect of yourself. Yeah, healing that is very difficult. So you want to just be present for what something needs and then be there when it needs it. And ultimately get to a place where you're no longer in a place of need when you come together, so that organism can meet the needs of a larger group collective. There's been a bunch of accidents recently. So like the plane crash over the Potomac, and then all of a sudden, just the next day, I think it was yesterday, that big medical helicopter went down in Philadelphia. Why are these things happening, right? If you look at Congress in the United States, like if you take a picture, every single one of those people are just pointing fingers at each other, right? It's your fault. You're corrupt. You're taking money. Everybody in here. I mean, they're just laying each other under the bus because it's all fear, right? Fear of losing their position. So they have to make themselves look like they're blameless. I'm not, right? I mean, if I were to concentrate on the past, I'm not blameless of anything, right? The process of growth is just about getting rid of attachments, like allowing attachments to come off so that you can stay more present and serve the group or the anybody around you, preferably close by, because you shouldn't feel bad to get close to anybody with any kind of attachment. That's the thing. If you're scared of attachment, you don't understand that it can't harm you. There is an attachment. There isn't a big baddie out there that's sucking the life out of people that can harm you unless you're afraid of it. Why wouldn't you love it? It's just living in darkness, just like everybody else, right? All of us are living in darkness. We go through darkness. It's like a dichotomy, right? You're constantly in some form of darkness all through time. Even if you reach an ascended mastery level where you can pop in and out of three-dimensional space, you're still going to be dark. If you're not all that is, was, and ever will be, you can't manifest in a singular form in time-space if you are that, right? It's impossible. You can't contain all the energy of the whole by being a part. So you'll always be ignorant of an infinite amount of information. And if you can't quantify it, who cares? You just become a child again. It's like, oh, okay, it's all a part of me. And it loves me. I surrender to it. Staying fully present. So it doesn't matter what's, right? The biggest, baddest, nasty is going to try and make you fearful of something out there so that it can feed off of your energy. All it's doing is feeding off of fear because it's trying to give you a false reality. Give you an example. Let's say you, or anybody watching this channel, you come up to somebody as an angel. You want to offer them support. But their experience in their mind has been that everybody's out to get me. Nobody loves me, right? Because there's an entity attached to that thought form. Because that's a wasted energy, right? It's telling you that everything in your environment is against you, but it's not. It's a part of you. But if that belief has sunk into your mind, then the angel that person's seeing looks like a dark entity to you, right? The psychic community is filled with a lot of people that think that there's a lot of dark entities out there, and actually there's not. None of it. It's just everything is a being of light in a amount of darkness, if that makes sense. Even the parasites. Look at nature, right? Every thing out there has parasites on it. And the only thing to shrug off the parasites is to starve it of its food source, right? The only way to get rid of a parasite is to get rid of its food source. So you have to stop eating something that something's feeding off of to get out. You have to be fully present. So what are you working towards? What are you creating? How are you receiving? Right? Yeah. It's all in now. And if you're getting pulled into stuff that's creating any kind of fear, anxiety, then what are we doing? Life is just joyful, right? Another thing, so I want to give some advice as far as if you guys are changing your workout regimen. I changed my workout regimen a little bit recently because I wanted to just shed some pounds, right? 49, right? Unless you stay on top of yourself and change your routine a little bit, a lot of times, and I've run into this because I worked out for years. I mean, I've tried to keep myself in really good shape for years. So I've changed my routine at times and done different things. But changing more to doing an outdoor running, hiking theme. But I found that, and I used to do this a lot when I had a house that was on a big hillside. I'd go out there and run wind sprints on the hill, and sometimes 2-3 times a week. I was in my I was in my mid 30s though. That was 15 years ago. And then even more recent, like, up until maybe 10 years ago, I used to do that when I still lived there. And I moved out in 2016, I think, or 2014 or 15, somewhere in there. So it was 10 years ago. Man, time goes by so fast. But if you're trying to just start, right? And eventually, you work up to where your body heals faster and faster and faster because that's what you're doing. Your body gets used to being at a certain energetic state and having a lightness of feel. And then as you get better and better and better at it, it gets lighter and lighter and lighter, and you move more energy in the body. So, like, what I started doing is I have the privilege. I've got hills all around me here. We live in a valley, and I can go out to Candy Mountain or Badger, or the best one right here, in my opinion, is right next to my house. It's a 2,000 foot ridge line, or that's the elevation at the top, and you can drive your car right up to the 800 foot spot and climb 1,200 feet. Boom. Go to the base. What I've started doing is, I think, once a week. I'm just going to go to the base of it. Maybe start twice a week. Depends how I feel, right? Depends what I got going on. But go to the base of it. Run up as fast as you can until you can't. Well, go to a certain point where you want to go up it. And this is just, you'll be able to do this more intensively the longer you do this, is sprint up it as fast as you can until you run out of gas. Do that 3 times. Walk back to your car. And I do it 3 times because the walk back to the car is fairly long from where I start this little spurt, because you got to walk up a pretty steep grade until it gets really steep, and then it goes and then just start doing sprints on that thing. And so there's a good warm-up hill to prep you for that. So you're not just trying to sprint something cold, you're not going to pull something, right? I mean, always warm yourself up before workouts. If you're trying to do an intense workout, make sure you're warming up parts of the body. Sometimes you want to do a warm-up and stretch, depending on how you feel, what you've eaten from the previous day. And then go back and do like that hill. I go back, I just walked it today. Felt great. It was sunny outside. Actually, right when I got on the hill, so it was so surreal. I got right on the hillside, and I wasn't thinking about anything. I was just fully present there. And the clouds was coming up the sun, and the clouds kind of went by, and the sun started shining, and it was so beautiful. And I walked to the top, and it was windy up top. There were people riding bikes, and they had decided to run the ridge line with their bikes today. Bad day for, I mean, it was windy up top. Really windy. They've been trying to build wind turbines up there for a while because it's a consistent wind up on top of the ridge line over on the Horse Heavens. That's actually we live in the Yakima Valley here, and then if you go up the ridge line, you go up to the top of the Horse Heavens, and it's a gradual grade that goes all the way down to the Columbia, and then wind just comes up and just piles over the top of that ridge line. Bad day for going bike riding. Although it was fairly warm, but the wind chill was pretty high. You know, I mean, it's not. It's February 1st, right? It's not. It's not super warm. It's cold. It's not freezing. But yeah. So met a couple people. You know, just it's interesting to see where people are at, how present they are, how much they want to interact with you. A lot of times, people are trying to just ground out negative energies and just get out there and get exercise. And some people just want to focus on what they're doing. They don't want to interact with anybody, which is great. I'm a little bit of a nutcase where I would rather be talking to you than doing anything. So like if we're walking up a hillside, probably gonna like to stop as many times as possible and just enjoy the experience. And I like just sitting down and smelling the flowers, right? If I'm doing it for myself, then it's more about the workout and the exercise. But if I'm doing it with somebody else, yeah, you're gonna, you know, let's smell the flowers together. Anyway, what else? What else is there to talk about? What else could there possibly be to talk about, right? We can pull cards and see what you guys need to hear, but this was my download for the day for Saturday. It's Saturday evening, so I did that this morning, and then I went in and got a smoothie, and what else did I don't know. I had a really good day. And felt freeing in a way, right? Because if you're too worried about anything, any one thing, it's always going to pull you out of the present. And there's something that's got to eat that energy. So you're literally just starving something out over time. And the only way to do that, to a large degree, is to refuse to believe that you know anything about anything, right? I mean, ultimately, the power to heal has to do with being present right now and being able to listen to everything that somebody's showing you. And if you can surrender to one another, then you can push all this stuff out. And you might say, well, aren't you worried about an attachment from somebody? He's like, no. The attachment can attach to me because it's, if whatever that thing feeds on, I've already conquered, right? That's why, this is really important, that verse in Matthew where the possessed boy, Jesus heals the possessed boy. And the apostles asked him, well, why weren't we able to heal this? And he's like, this is one that you would have to heal by much meditation and fasting. Because you have to cure the feeling that you got to feed in any way to keep yourself from dying, right? Feed on your environment. There's some big nasties out there that feed off a large portion of most of the population because it's something so natural that we do. It's a sort of parasitic attachment that we all have in some way, shape, or form or another. We're all finding ways to break those connections so that we can free ourselves energetically, because every one thing is potentially more and more sovereign the more it disconnects and is able to listen to the rest of itself. And that's actually how you listen better, is being able to disconnect, and your discernment grows the more you show love and then don't expect anything in return, and see how that love comes back. Does it come back in a kind of controlling energy? Or at first maybe it's not, but then maybe over time it could become that way. If whoever it is, it unconsciously starts to feel unsafe for whatever reason. Never feel unsafe. You should never feel unsafe for anything. It's all part of you. Everything. Yeah. An abundant universe, right? Let's get an oracle card. What does the oracle have to say? So yeah, if any of you guys are ever interested, I mean, I would love to assist anybody in building any kind of business. And it is possible to build it so that it makes sure that it never pulls you into negative energetic attachments, right? And that people have to overcome those attachments if they continue to grow together, to become more present, to heal each other more profoundly, and then emulate that for the rest of the world, right? Hope. And this is the one that kind of looks like Star Trek one. Shadow cells. They're still doing a little shadow work. Yeah. Right? Unconscious. Where are we pouring our energy unconsciously? That's just. Yeah. I mean, there's so many parts of ourselves that there is to uncover. And as soon as you bring awareness to it, then you're aware. You're no longer doing that thing or feeding that thing that's pulling on you. Yeah. Love you guys. I was going to do a reading, but I think I'm not going to do a reading. I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. And let me know in the comments. You guys experienced anything similar, right? Where you can channel the energy or channel whatever anybody needs in your direct environment to make sure that they're staying grounded, right? Expanding themselves energetically. And then you'll start switching between positive and negative so fast that to everyone else it'll look like you're moving really fast, but to you actually it's relative because you're so focused in the present moment that what else is there? There isn't anything else. There's only right now. And what am I going to do next? I don't know. Love you guys. Have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.